If you don't start to ground yourself and realize your limits, the universe will show you your limits.
So you lead with intention, and the universe has its way of cycling that back to you.
You have to find a way to be present and take care of yourself, or else you will literally have your ass handed to you.
Whatever it is that fuels the cup, whatever it is that makes you feel grounded, do that.
You're listening to the Apology Void podcast.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Sal.
I know we are recording this prior to New Year. It's the 30th, but for our listeners, and when this gets released, Happy New Year. 2026.
Bless 2026. I have so many hopes for 2026. I think I put this in a short story yesterday to just like some of my close friends that I hope that 2026 is just filled with peace and joy and ease and just a lot more simplicity and stability. That's
love
my
that.
hope. That's my hope for this new year.
That's a great intention.
Thank you.
It's a good start. How are we even in 2026?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, December both felt like it was 39 days long, but also like it went by in a blink. We went from Thanksgiving to Christmas here basically overnight. And then you and I were both sick. Now we're thankfully both better. And somehow we are in a brand new year. And I have no idea what happened between like April and now.
Actually. But also it felt so long, like so short, but also so long, like you said. Like I think back, Nick and I were looking at something yesterday, a photo of something that happened at the start of the year. And we just stared at each other like, no, that wasn't this. No, like that was ages ago. That wasn't this year.
Yeah.
But it was. I was like,
Yeah.
Wow. So it has gone, a lot has happened anyway this year. And it has gone in ways really fast and in ways
Really slow.
I want it to go slow. Like please slow. Please go slow.
Yeah. There are a lot of times that I'm like, I could use an extra 3 days in this week. I could use an extra 6 hours in this day. Just slow down time a little bit. I have gotten to a place where I'm really enjoying so many parts of my life, and I want to spend so much more time enjoying that. And yet, all of like the work stuff and regular life and daily things just keep going, and you somehow have to keep up with them. And you're totally right in saying that it has both felt like the longest and shortest year, because similarly, my phone brought up a memory that was a picture of a blues festival I went to at the end of May, beginning of June. And I was like, how was that just like 7 months ago? How was that just 7 months ago? It feels like I have had this memory now for 5 years. Just because so much has happened in the past 12 months that it feels like a lifetime. I have enough for another book, Sal.
Get writing.
I really need to. I really, really need to. I texted a friend today and was like, more content for book number 4. Better start writing book 1.
Just got all the ideas down. But I feel like that leads us into, you said just before, you feel like you want 3 more days in the week, but there's so many things going around. And I feel like that leads us great into the topic for today, which is, in one word, grounding.
Yeah.
I know, grounding is it's a little bit airy-fairy, but just remaining grounded and celebrating the time and enjoying the time that we have, that's all a part of it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, grounding. I love that. I like, that's probably the easiest word. That is the easiest word that could sum up all of kind of the thoughts and the things that we want to base it around. But you're right. The word itself, grounding, can be awfully airy-fairy and just kind of like woo-woo out there. When I think of grounding, I think about rooting myself in the present. And how do I bring myself back to this present moment and back to my body and back to like this particular space and time as opposed to allowing my anxiety about the future or the past rule my current world. That's what I think of with grounding.
Mm, mm. And for someone, I mean, you know this about me a little bit already, but for someone who's very scientific, like my science brain just takes over all the time. I'm also equally very airy fairy in some regards. So, like,
Yeah.
very spiritual, very sort of like woo woo, as they say. I'm doing the air quotes, but grounding, I think about, I'm a big believer in like putting our feet on the earth's soil and, like, actually grounding our body and feeling grounded to the earth. So I believe in all of that stuff equally as well as I'm a science brain. So, I to me, the word grounding, while, yeah, it can be a bit airy-fairy, that just means so many things, and as you said, grounding yourself in the present, being grounded in your body and your beliefs and your, like, confidence and being grounded in a lot of things that we've already spoken about on the podcast. But I think where we're coming from today is just trying to quiet the noise,
Mm.
trying to quiet the busyness, coming back to our present and ground ourselves in the moment so we can enjoy the time and it doesn't go by in the blink of an eye without us realizing, and we can celebrate the wins. We've spoken about that before as well. If you're not grounded in the present, in the moment, you actually can't recognize the win until it's so far down the track that it feels like a lifetime ago.
I that's a beautiful way to put that. Like, that's just
Mm,
a beautiful way to summarize all of that. And I definitely agree with you that we need to ground ourselves in the present so we can celebrate those moments. Another thing that came to mind while you were talking is grounding yourself so that you can actually allow your brain to work, which might sound a little silly, but again, like bringing yourself back into your body and into your present and into this moment so that you don't allow all of the outside noise, as you put it, to really obscure the picture and obscure what you're trying to do or accomplish. I've had a lot of anxiety recently regarding a lot of big decisions that I'm making and a lot of big new things that are happening in my world. And they've required a lot of very complex thinking about some very, very big topics. And that's super easy to get anxious about. And so I've been relying on grounding practices in order to really quiet all of that outside noise so that I can make the best, most informed decision for my current self and for the current state of what's happening. Um, Without again getting into this very like frantic mindset. So I love the way you put that with all of the noise because it is so noisy.
mm, mm. And it's easy when I say this, it's easy for it to be noisy, right? So we get so hung up in that that cycle and the busyness and this and going and going and going and going. And you and I are absolutely guilty of this.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm speaking for myself as well, but I know just from our conversations, like we are absolutely guilty of just going around and around and around. And, when I did so yoga is a good practice for grounding.
Yeah.
So, practicing yoga and when I taught yoga and stuff. So whether that's breathing or meditation or just the practice of being, they call it, being on the mat, but you don't have to be doing yoga. You can just be in your space and it's just focusing being on or in that space and for the 30 minutes, the hour, whatever time you dedicate, that 10 minutes, nothing else matters. It's like I am in a little bubble. I'm doing the shape of a mat with my hands because I'm thinking of yoga, but it can be like a little, little circle. It can be just like in your living room or whatever. It's just sitting in that space and going, okay. And it doesn't also happen straight away. So switching off your mind is not, oh, I'm going to switch off my mind for 30 minutes. Yay. It is a practice. So start with, focusing on the breath and some of those breath works. So like breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, things like that can help. Or if you want to do a guided practice, jump on YouTube. Like jump on and do a yin or something like that. It's just sitting in they call them yoga poses, but it's just like very releasing. And that might help you as well. So it can take an actual practice like that, but sometimes it's also about stepping out of the race, I guess. So you mentioned before you and I have we both got sick this month. And
Yes.
I was saying before we started recording that in ways, I think it was the universe's message to me to say, like, calm down. You're going too fast. You're doing way too much. I'm not going to let you do anything anymore. Here you go. Here's illness. So I had no
Yeah.
choice. Like I had to be at home. I couldn't go out. I just had to be in my own space for more than a week. And it's fun. Like I was able to do some work and stuff, but I also had to nap. I also had to rest. I always had to fuel my body, like make sure I was hydrating, all of those things. And I said to Nick on one of the days, because guys, I'm proud. I'm proud of me. Side note, I also played games. Played board games.
Yay!
So I was doing things that fueled my soul, not just my body, but fueled my
Good.
soul, right? And then one of the days, as I was like recovering and I was feeling quite good, I was feeling pretty much 100%. I was like, I feel like a child with not a care in the world. And I have not experienced that feeling in a long time, like
Yeah.
such a long time. And it just reminded me that because I did some goals last week, but I'm going to sit with them again tomorrow and really just have some intention on being grounded in those, being present in those, and being like having enjoyment in and around. So we don't lose sight and enjoy the journey rather than just caught up in the rat race for the destination. I think I've just absolutely side noted the whole podcast episode, but that's fine.
You brought up some really good points. The biggest word that I think you said at the end of that really sums it all up is intention. It's bringing the intention, whether it's to a yoga mat or playing games or going for a walk. It's taking the intentional time to create the space for yourself, to create the quiet, to be away from the noise. It is that intentional practice of finding the space and grounding yourself. So, as Sal was saying, like you show up on the mat. And again, that could be a practice of 1 minute to start. For me, starting out at a minute was very hard. A minute of meditation was like absolute torture. But you get to the point where you're able to build up and build up and build up and build up and find that practice as you go and slow down. And if you don't start to ground yourself and slow down and realize your limits, the universe will show you your limits for you with things like getting sick. Cheers to both of us on that front.
You're
Because
welcome.
that required rest was actually really important for me. And taking those 2 days of rest. Now, I will say prior to that, Nathan had taken a couple days off, and the two of us spent some really beautiful, intentional quality time together, playing board games and making meals and going to the grocery store. Like, we love going to the grocery store together. It's really beautiful and intentional. So at the end of those few days, was like, I just really have enjoyed the past few days so much because they were filled with connection and joy and learning and new things. And without all of that extraneous noise, we were able to create that very intentional time for connection together. And it was so fueling. It was so fueling. And I don't remember the last time I think I've felt that, like you said, kind of like carefree and just okay and just, like, good. I just
Mhm.
felt good, which was so nice. It was so nice.
It's crazy that that's a foreign feeling, though.
Yeah,
And I was thinking about that just yesterday. I was like, 'cause I was reflecting on the time, and I'm thinking, it's insane that that feeling is so far and few between that it felt foreign, if that
yeah,
makes sense. Like, it felt amazing. Like, I felt great. I felt refreshed, and we did some quality time as well. It was amazing, but it was foreign. I was like, when
yeah,
was the last time I felt like this? And that's why I said I feel like a child with not a care, because surely it wasn't the last time I felt like that, but it felt like that was it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, it was
It
crazy.
it is crazy and cool when you
Cool.
experience that again, but also kinda sad that we let that
Mm,
go. And to re-experience it just really puts into perspective how important it is to prioritize play and space for enjoyment, because really that is what life is about, is enjoying each other and companionship and connection and living your
mhm,
life. Because if it's not
mhm.
for that, what is it for? Um,
100%. Yeah.
t
When we are
truly.
grounded as well, and I'll use the word grounded to encompass what I'm saying, we feel at ease, we feel happy, we're fueling our cup, we're confident, we're content is probably a better word. We feel content in our current experience. I feel like our goals are actually achieved more. So it's kind of like you're not putting in more effort. Like you're not, I guess, sometimes when we have a goal, we go for it, we just push and push and push beyond our limit, right? But we're not coming from a place of contentment or grounded or happiness, or we're just pushing. We're just pushing for
Yeah,
it, pushing for it. When you bring it back, so when you do scale it back and you're fulfilled within yourself and you have that feeling of, yeah, content or not a care in the world. I didn't want to say that because you have cares, but it's like the goals will happen. So you lead with intention. You lead from a good place of happiness, and the universe has its way of cycling that back to you.
yeah.
It's like what the energy
It's
that you're putting out.
it's alignment. You're in alignment with all of the things that you have set as your goals, because your goals
Yes.
aren't gonna be, "I want to live in a state of anxiety and panic constantly." Um, they're not gonna be that. So, chances are, if
If
you are
they are,
coming
I mean, go off.
chances are if you're coming from a more grounded and peaceful state where you're present, you're actually going to be able to achieve those things a lot more easily.
Yeah.
I I've again, as I said, I've been dealing with a lot of really big decisions and anxiety and everything on that little front there. Whenever that comes up, if I feel my blood pressure rising or my anxiety heightening, or if my brain feels really fuzzy on a decision, I will physically go for a walk. I set everything down, I put on my shoes, and I go outside and I just walk. I just walk. And I walk until the answer comes to me usually. Because
Mm,
typically, just by being outside my physical space, outside the space where there are other distractions, and in a more like outdoor, surrounded by nature, literally grounding yourself with the earth location, the answers come a lot more clearly because my brain is working at a more relaxed, in sync space.
mhm. 100%. Yeah, and I'm not surprised by that. Like, it's something that it's like we know, but we
Yeah.
always fall out of the habit and back into the trap of pushing, like pushing for
Yeah.
the goal, push, push, push. And walking is actually a form of meditation. So,
Yep.
maybe sitting down still in the space, as you said, a minute was like a struggle. Maybe that's just not for you at this space and time. That's not the right decision. Going for a walk is a better choice. People go for color walks. They look at different
Mhm.
colors. People go for object walks. Silence is great as well, just nature, just if you live somewhere where you're around nature, just walking in amongst the trees and things. If you live in the city where there's, lots of noise happening, maybe colour walk is a better option. But it just depends on what you've got to work with as well, because that can influence going to a studio for me, like going to a yoga studio and sitting in within those four walls does work. Like that actually works for me. I haven't done it in a long time just because I haven't prioritized it. And I don't think that's a good thing. It's just I've been like, oh no, I can't because I won't have time to go that many times a week. So it's a waste of money. Here's me, like quote, a waste of money because I won't use it. It's like, mate, if I use it once a week, it's not a waste of money. Like
Yeah.
it's worth every cent.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and we make excuses, and I'm doing it in my mind right now because I'm thinking, oh, Sally, okay, maybe you should just go join next week because it's not a waste of money. But then I'm thinking, oh, we're actually moving soon, so should I? Like we create these like little stories, to
We
stop
create the
us doing
reasons
that stuff.
Yeah, we create the reasons why we shouldn't do something. All of the excuses as to not. When really we just need to, like, get out and do it. You just need to,
Mm,
like, go. Go do it.
mm. Or not do it, as
Or not
in,
do it.
or scale it back and not do it. Like just
Correct.
read a book or whatever it is. Well, I guess the point that we're making is, we're giving examples from us, but whatever it is that fuels the cup, whatever it is that makes you feel grounded, now we're talking about grounded within yourself, do that.
Yeah.
Don't go
Yeah.
to yoga because I'm saying I enjoy it. Don't go for a walk because Katie's saying she enjoys it. Like if you hate walking, don't do that because you're going to feel
There's
angry.
there are so many different ways that you can ground yourself, but the fact of the matter is you have to find a way to be present and ground yourself in the present and take care of yourself, or else you will literally have your ass handed to you, which I did. So, uh,
So,
so Nathan and I were actually talking last night because I have lived here for a year now.
oh
I
yeah.
Yeah, January 1st of 2025, I had to leave my career as a performing musician because my body was rebelling and saying, "You can no longer do this." I was dislocating my knees and my ribs on stage and having such bad acid reflux, I was literally throwing up in my mouth while I was singing. My body said, "No more," because it was not good for me at that time. And so let me tell you, getting comfortable in this space over the past year and a whole life change has been a real challenge, and it has been a practice, but it also has given me a lot of space to ground myself and be more present and take care of me. And I am a healthier version of myself now than I was a year ago because I've given myself that space. I didn't immediately clog all of that time with something else. Now, yes, I have done more travel over the last year, but I also know that that's impacted me. So in this coming year, I'm going to be traveling half as much as I did the prior year. I recognize at this point how things are impacting my body and take active steps to mitigate that so that I can live my best daily moving forward. I'm grounding myself in what's actually happening and acknowledging what's actually happening as opposed to saying everything is sunshine and rainbows and my body's going to hold out forever doing all of the things. So sometimes it's just a reality check.
Mm,
And we have to slow down in order to make our life actually livable, doable, and enjoyable. Because anytime I was traveling, I would then spend another 3 to 4 days recouping before I was traveling for 3 days to spend 4 days recouping to travel for 3 days. That was my gig schedule. That is not a life that I want to maintain. And so
mm,
this year, while it has been quite the practice in centering myself and not losing my gosh dang mind because I'm not doing those things and not going all the places and not traveling and not being on stage, it's also been the best thing. So
Mm,
it takes a lot of effort and it takes practice and it takes time, but it is very achievable. And you just have to start small. Whether that is 30 seconds in a yoga on a yoga mat in your living room or in a yoga studio or going to the gym or a walk around your block. Like, there are days when that's all my body can do is walk around the block, and that's fine. Maybe it's taking a shower in silence and focusing on how the water hits your head. That's grounding. It's focusing on your posture when you stand at the sink and do dishes. Maybe you don't listen to anything, you just focus on the senses that are happening. It's any number of things that, again, brings you into your body in this moment. And they are so impactful and will literally change your life.
mm. You raised a really good point, and I think it's worth elaborating on, is that different seasons in our life will call for different practices or different grounding or ability to be able to ground in those different ways. So there are seasons in our life that are, I guess, again, don't like this word, but busy. Or there are seasons in our life that are, our anxiety is higher. Or there are seasons in our life where we're going through a hard time. All of those things, it's okay that maybe if historically, things have worked for you. So say if going for a walk has worked for you in the past, or, you think, oh no, I just got to go for a walk. It'll make me feel so much better. Then it doesn't. It's a going, okay, I'm in a different season. That may not work for me right now. Or honestly, and I get this because maybe you just actually cannot allocate that time to do that because you don't have it to give. And look, I know there's a lot of I used to be this push, like this sort of like push in my mind. No, you just make time for it. You make time, you make time, you make time. And I still do that. And I do believe that you make time for what's a priority. But it's actually okay to not make it a priority when you don't have the time that you want to give, if that makes sense. So sometimes a grounding practice, you said standing in the shower, that's an amazing one. Like standing in the shower and just focusing on the water falling and like hitting your head. That's a great one because it's a habit stacker. You're already having a shower anyway. You don't have to dedicate time to walk. So maybe a busy season calls for something like that. So I just want to acknowledge that everybody's in a different season and everybody's at a different time in their life. And you may not be able to go on an hour walk or drive to a studio and go into yoga or even sit on a mat in your living room because that might just cause you way too much stress. And that's fine. It's just about finding your own form of grounding and contentment and working towards that. I think this is going to be my word for 2026. I think grounded is going to be my word. I've been thinking about it the last week, what my word for 2026 is. I think this is it.
I like that.
So I'll sit on it. I'll sit on it. I think it's going to be grounded.
I've been giving it a lot of thought myself, and intention is currently a front runner.
I love it. They're
Doing
very related.
more, yeah, doing more with intention. So
They're
I think
very
that's a really
related.
important thing. Uh, One quick grounding exercise, like if you're at your desk and you feel like the anxiety is building up or you can't think on something, just sit in your chair, close your eyes, fix your posture, and take 3 deep breaths. Like feel
Perfect.
the feet, like feel your feet on the floor, feel the ground under your feet, and focus on the energy in your body, just breathing in and releasing. That's it. Just bring your intention to your breath, to your body for 3 breaths. You can do that. Anyone can do that throughout their day. So if you don't have time for the rest of it, there's at least one simple thing that you can do. And Sal, I think that
100%.
grounded is a great word for 2026.
And I think intention is as well.
Yay! Look at us go. Boop, boop, boop,
Short
boop,
and
boop.
sweet. We hope that you have the most amazing 2026. We're excited to keep going with the podcast and bring some amazing topics.
Yay! All right. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.